When it comes to toy cars, you can't get any faster or cooler than Hot Wheels. As a kid, there was no better feeling than getting a new track set or some cars, and figuring out ways to add the pieces to your own tracks, rotating in more cars to race with, or adding cars to your growing collection. There's been no shortage of Hot Wheels games over the years, many of them praised for the take on capturing the feel of racing cars or building tracks. The latest in this lineage is Hot Wheels Unleashed by Milestone, which aims to excel in many types of Hot Wheels gaming experiences that have come before, with an enjoyable arcade racing style and flexible creation and customization tools at its core. The end result is a fun and ambitious Hot Wheels love letter, and easily one of the best attempts at taking die-cast cars from the palm of your hand to your controller. So with introductions out of the way, this is Hot Wheels Unleashed, a crowd pleaser for all kinds of Hot Wheels fans. Hot Wheels Unleashed is all about racing with a vast collection of Hot Wheels cars on gravity-defying tracks filled with obstacles and plenty of ways to go fast. Hot Wheels games tend to fall between one of two extremes: the toy cars upsized to real-world proportions, or reimagining the world from the scale of the toy cars. Unleashed heavily leans towards the latter, arguably the most out of any game so far. While Unleashed is definitely an arcade racer with an emphasis on holding down the gas most of the time and constantly filling up a boost meter by drifting and slipstreaming, the game's handling and physics make this a bit of a Hot Wheels simulator, for lack of a better term. What I mean is that cars are susceptible to losing their balance easily when scraping against walls or other cars at the wrong angle, and can fly off course and crash in ways that anyone who's played with the actual cars will recognize. That's not to say cars are completely helpless when they're airborne, as you can rotate and twist your car when coming off jumps, boost to get some more distance, or rocket yourself back on track if your aim was off. All these factors combined can make driving two-scale die-cast cars feel a bit tricky for some, but after getting accustomed to how the light weight and high speeds affect your car, you'll soon be the fastest metal and plastic thing on wheels. Hot Wheels tracks have always been about letting one's imagination go wild with whatever pieces they have available, especially when they involve going over, around, and through their surroundings. Unleashed takes that philosophy to heart, with tracks created in various semi-realistic environments, which consist of a well-decorated basement, a neon-lit garage, an outdoor skate park, a college campus, and a skyscraper under construction. Course layouts come in two types, either lap-based or point-to-point. The tracks use every inch of each location to allow for some truly inspired course designs, and are made up of more than just the standard orange track. Massive curves and loops, ramps, boost pads, power-up strips, and most importantly, anti-gravity sections and track modules are what brings some variety to every course. The anti-gravity bits are the most video gamey aspect of the tracks, allowing for cars to drive at otherwise impossible angles, and make areas like walls and the ceiling extra real estate for additional twists and turns. Track modules throw in a wide variety of obstacles and race modifiers, like an elevating bridge that can lead to two different routes, spiders that shoot webs and temporarily trap any cars that get caught, and a winding volcano finish line. The final aspect of the tracks that I haven't mentioned yet are when the races go off-road, so to speak, and continue on surfaces of the environment, meaning the floor, furniture, air ducts, and any other surrounding objects are factored into the course designs. While the 5-track environments and the 9 tracks created for each area are very well done, things can get a bit repetitive. With the inclusion of DLC expansions, 3 new environments were added for more variety, which includes the Bat Cave filled with gadgets, a studio set up for a toy monster truck commercial, and a Looney Tunes themed amusement park, plus 5 new tracks in each setting. Playing on the tracks included in the game are fun enough on their own, but where Unleashed goes the extra mile is by putting that kind of creative power in the player's hands via the track builder. Using the 8 aforementioned environments, and a mode-exclusive one called the Track Room, original courses can be constructed and shared online with others to race on. You naturally start out by placing a starting line piece, which also determines if the track will be a closed circuit or one-way course. From there, you place connecting track pieces, with most turns, loops, and jumps created by simply moving the analog sticks and shoulder buttons to stretch, rotate, and tilt basic pieces. Magnetic track sections and special track strips are connected in a similar manner. Track modules can also be placed at any point if they aren't physically obstructed by the environment. Boost pads, banked track edges, and wall-free track segments are added by modifying track pieces, which also includes color changes for applicable pieces. The building interface and controls take some getting used to, but becomes more feasible with a bit of time. Once you've placed your finish line down, and completed a validation run to ensure it's drivable, give your track a name and it's ready for sharing. It's also worth mentioning that the basement environment is also fully customizable, from the wallpaper and furniture designs in each room to the objects adorning the shelves, which can completely change the vibe of a track, and why it was my favorite environment to check out when searching for community-created tracks. One downside to player-made tracks is that they can only be played locally in time trials. The only way to have proper races on them is through online multiplayer. Consider that criticism a testament to the kinds of fun Unleashed Track Builder allows for, and that I want to be able to casually race on other players' creations on my own time. The mark of any good racing game, especially a Hot Wheels one, is its car roster. Unleashed features the largest collection of playable diecasts with over 100 to choose from. While that number alone is impressive compared to past Hot Wheels games, the variety on display also delves into new territory, which appeals to many different types of fans. There's of course a healthy amount of original creations from the toy line's 50-year history, from longtime classics, to darlings from the mid to late 2000s, animal-shaped street beasts, wacky objects on wheels, utility vehicles made cooler, racetrack-ready rides, and modern masterpieces. If realism is more your thing, there's downscaled recreations of real-world cars from popular manufacturers. Famous pop culture cars from various movies and television shows also share some screen time. Want something with a bit more character? Then there's colorful cartoon, movie, and comic book characters represented from the Character Cars line. And literally the biggest surprises are the car-crushing monster trucks. Speaking of car categories, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that there must have been some kind of push to throw a bone to the World Race and Acceleracers fans like me, as there's noticeable amounts of cars from those lines, like the Power Rage, my all-time favorite Hot Wheels car. Each car has differing stats in top speed, braking responsiveness, acceleration, handling, and boost power, which lead to different driving feels. While this can mean that your favorite may not play the way you'd like, upgrading certain stats is possible, which can be done twice for most cars, and changes the car's rarity from common to rare, then legendary. The changes between upgrades are noticeable, so if you're having trouble winning races, the improvements can tip the scales in your favor. Additionally, there's a class of special cars called Super Treasure Hunts, which have exceptional stats and more detailed designs, and named after their hard-to-find real-world counterparts. With so many Hot Wheels cars that have existed over the years, it's impossible to please everyone, but as far as I'm concerned, there are cars in the game that I already love, and some that I was introduced to here and love now. I've also been on a collector's kick lately to add the game's cars to my display cases, so I think it should go without saying that I'm more than happy with what Unleashed had to offer. Hot Wheels cars are known for castings coming in multiple designs, and while Unleashed doesn't include alternate paint jobs for every car, the livery editor makes recreating fan favorites, plus brand new designs possible. You can change the color of most of the car's main parts, like the body, undercarriage, wheels, and windows. To make the finer details on a livery, you place layers of stickers on the body, with plenty of freedom on the position, scale, and rotation. The material of the paint stickers can also be changed to look more metallic or plastic. Once you're done with your livery, you give it a name and some tags for sharing purposes, and have the choice of uploading it for other players to use. Thankfully, a patch for cross-platform sharing is made available, so more players can share their designs with each other, and find new ones that they previously may not have known about. The only limitations to the editor are that some of the licensed cars and none of the character cars can be modified, and that the Nintendo Switch version wasn't included in cross-platform sharing. Drawbacks aside, there's still so many cool cars that can be made to look even cooler, and the community's best work continues to impress. One of them is even going to be made into a real casting for the Roger Dodger very soon. When I said Unleashed is a Hot Wheels simulator of sorts, that didn't just apply to how the game plays, but how it looks as well. I know I'm talking about toys here, but the way the die-cast cars and plastic tracks render look very realistic, as in they look extremely faithful to the real thing if you were to look at them in person. From the correct wheel types used on the specific casting, down to the manufacturing details underneath the cars. The paint finish on the cars isn't the same across the board either. Some are all metallic and shine everywhere, some include more opaque plastic bits, and those with transparent windows allow you to see the molded seats and interior in all their accuracy. Where Milestone truly went above and beyond with the car design is including car damage in ways unique to playing with the actual cars. The paint gets scratched and chipped, edges start to wear down with slightly brighter colors, and the wheels get small indents in them like they've been rolling down streets and sidewalks. Even fingerprints start showing up, almost as if someone is constantly having to pick the cars up to get them back on the track. Now that's attention to detail. An equal amount of love and care went into the look of the tracks. The distinctive Hot Wheels orange track has never looked better in a game before. Track pieces are held together with the motor connectors with the blue circle in the middle, and track modules have that flat plastic look. All that's missing is the removable plate on the back of them to put batteries in. You can't see them very well in the middle of a race, but if you go into photo mode and get a good look at the track, there's little scratches all over them, and a closer look at the yellow guardrails show that they have stickers applied to them, complete with air bubbles since those things are always a hassle to put on cleanly. While all those details on the cars and tracks are nice, it's how they look in motion where it really counts. The 30 frames per second performance I get on the PlayStation 4 is mostly stable, and while 60 frames would be ideal, the game's sense of speed still feels very fast, the motion blur being a major contributing factor. The music is a split of two types of licensed songs. During races, the music is all high-tempo techno tracks befitting of cars driving fast and aggressive in all sorts of directions. While navigating menus, you're treated to funky, chill beats while you're taking a break from the intensity. I do wish there are a few more songs to add to the racing playlist, as they're shared across every track, so you'll be hearing them a lot, but better to want more of a good thing than to have too much of something you don't care for, so not the worst problem to have. For those looking for a sizable single-player campaign in the racing game, Unleashed has you covered with Hot Wheels City Rumble, where the bulk of your offline playtime will be spent. You'll be tasked with making your way through a branching city map filled with single races and time attacks to complete, unlocking exclusive rewards, fulfilling secret tasks, and taking on boss tracks. Each space on the map has 2 goals to clear, the easier of the 2 being the one necessary for progression, the harder one being tied to 100% completion. Upon completing spaces for the first time, you'll be rewarded with coins to buy things like cars in the limited offer shop, gears to upgrade cars, access to tracks to play in other modes, basement and Unleashed profile customization items, and blind boxes that give you a random car. While you don't know which car you'll get from a blind box, if you get a car that you already own, you can sell it to get more coins to buy another blind box, save up for a specific car in the shop, or dismantle it to get more gears, so getting duplicates has its benefits. City Rumble also provides you with free gift cars, which are required for completing secret conditions on some races, and open up previously inaccessible spots on the map. The main goal of City Rumble is to win the 5 boss races, which pit you against particularly devious track hazards like mini tornadoes, poison that drains your boost meter, and ice that temporarily disables turning. Clearing these challenges will unlock the obstacles as track modules for your own creations. The campaign is quite fun when starting out, but tracks are reused often, which is where the repetition I mentioned earlier started to wear on me. Part of that drag also came from the AI cars' behavior. While they are capable of being beaten, they have the rubber banding moments. Upgrading cars can mitigate that issue, and also helps out immensely for time attacks with increasingly more demanding time limits. Your perseverance to the end of City Rumble will be rewarded with secret class cars that you can only get here, and are tied to winning every boss race, completing both goals for every single race and time attack, and getting 100% completion on the map. Saving Hot Wheels City will definitely test your racing skills, so once you're done there, you can further prove your mastery by playing online. Online races pit you against up to 11 other players, and everyone chooses their preferred car and votes on a selection of tracks before each race. As you can imagine with competitive online races, the cars with the best stats tend to dominate, though in the times where a community track is selected, the playing field can be normalized a bit as everyone tries to navigate their way through. If racing with a local friend is your thing, split-screen multiplayer is also available. If you played Unleashed a few months after its release, you probably knew about Racing Seasons, which were purchasable limited time challenges to complete that earned you more cars and basement customization items. That limited time part is important, as there is currently no way to earn any of that content after the season's ended, which is a downer for late adopters. However, there's still an ever-growing selection of community liveries and tracks to check out, which I've been using time attacks to experience. And with the limits of these tools being pushed further every day, there's still some incentive to revisit the game every once in a while. Hot Wheels Unleashed is a perfectly named title for what the game offers, as it not only allows players to unleash their inner speed demon with some of the coolest Hot Wheels cars out there, but also allows them to unleash their creativity with a liberating livery editor and track builder. It's by no means perfect, and it's a shame that the game appears to be content complete after only 1 year since its release, but what we got at the end of the road was an enjoyable arcade racer that lovingly captured the joy of playing with Hot Wheels cars and tracks. In my opinion, Unleashed is currently the best Hot Wheels game out there, even amidst well-known favorites like Turbo Racing and Beat That. After getting so much right on their first try with the license, I hope Mattel will give the keys to Milestone again in the future, as I believe they've set a new standard for what can be done with a Hot Wheels racing game. You might even say they're leading the way. As always, this has been fun, and I'm already looking forward to covering another amazing racing game. So I hope you'll check out what I've got in store for next time, and thank you for watching.